Welcome to the third unit of the second course in Make Basics. In your previous learning journey, you explored the various types of data within Make, delving into both basic and advanced categories. Building upon this solid foundation, you're now set to expand your skills even further. This unit will introduce you to the practical techniques of mapping data items, a crucial skill that enhances the way data flows across different modules. You'll discover how these mapping techniques can be applied in real-world scenarios, improving the efficiency and functionality of your projects. Let's dive in and see how mapping can elevate your Make experience. Before diving into new concepts, let's take a moment to revisit the idea of mapping in Make. Mapping is essentially the backbone of how modules communicate with each other in a scenario. Think of it as a bridge that allows data to travel from one module to another, ensuring that information flows smoothly and accurately where it's needed. Imagine you're building a scenario that starts with a trigger. This trigger could be an event like a button click or even a scheduled time. What follows is data that needs to be processed. This is where mapping comes in. It allows the data output from one module to become the input for the next, seamlessly connecting the dots. By understanding mapping, you empower yourself to create robust and efficient scenarios, ensuring the right data reaches the right places without any hiccups. Ready to explore more about how mapping can enhance your Make experience? Let's get started. Before diving deeper into mapping in Make, let's quickly refresh our understanding. Mapping is essentially about how we connect different modules and transfer data smoothly from one to the next. Imagine it as a relay race, where the baton represents bundles of data. These data bundles are outputs from one module ready to be passed on. Think of mapping as the moment when a trigger kicks off your scenario, acting like the starting gun at the race. Once the trigger fires, data moves along, connecting seamlessly between modules. This ensures that information reaches the right destination, making your automated processes run efficiently and without a hitch. As you choose your answer, consider the flow of information and how crucial mapping is to orchestrating these connections. Mapping in Make is a crucial process that enables seamless data flow between different modules in your workflow. Think of it as setting up a roadmap for your data, guiding it from one point to the next. This isn't just about transferring information, it's about ensuring that the data is positioned precisely where it needs to be in each module. For instance, if you have a data set that's output from one module, mapping defines how and where this data will land in the next module, maintaining its integrity and usability. Triggers, whether timed or instant, are like the starting signals of this journey, initiating your scenario by activating the flow of data. They bring your operations to life, ensuring everything starts moving when it needs to. As we delve into more details in upcoming sections, you'll see how mapping creates a coordinated environment where each module understands exactly what to do with the data it receives. Mapping serves as a crucial bridge between different systems or modules. Imagine it as a translator that ensures data transferred from a source module is both accurate and relevant for use in a target module. This process helps the subsequent module understand how to utilize the information effectively. In real-world applications, think of situations where mapping has been vital. For instance, using temperature and time data in various scenarios during your Make Foundation and Basics courses. Mapping ensures that this data flows seamlessly, maintaining its integrity and purpose. By grasping these fundamentals, you can appreciate how mapping enhances interoperability and efficiency in your workflows, ultimately optimizing your experience with Make. Let's delve into the concept of mapping with a relatable analogy. Imagine you're moving to a new home. Your current home represents the source module, and your new home is the target module. You decide to take just one special item with you. Now think of the delivery van as the scenario that bridges the gap between your old and new homes. When you load your item onto the van, you're essentially providing instructions on how it should be handled and where it should be placed once it reaches its destination. This process mirrors how mapping works. The item is safely transported and unloaded exactly where you need it in the new home. Mapping in a technical setting involves transferring data or information from one system to another, ensuring it arrives accurately and is ready to be utilized. This analogy highlights the importance of clear instructions and smooth transitions, making sure everything gets to where it needs to be seamlessly. Imagine you are at a beach resort, eager to receive daily weather updates. Within a platform like Make, you can achieve this easily by connecting two modules, weather and email. The weather module acts as your source, pulling in the daily forecast based on your specified location and time. This data includes key details like temperature and weather conditions. Once this information is gathered, it's prepared for mapping into the next step. Now let's consider the email module, which serves as your target. It automatically takes the map data from the weather module and sends you an informative email. This email includes not just temperature, but also other critical factors such as humidity and wind. By setting this up, you'll receive dynamic updates every day, automatically keeping you in the know about the weather at your resort. This efficient mapping process saves time and ensures you have the necessary information at your fingertips. Mapping data items is all about ensuring that information flows smoothly from one part of your system to another. Imagine you're trying to fit puzzle pieces together. Each piece or data item has a specific shape or type. This is what we call a data type. When you map data, you need to check that the data type matches what's expected by the application you're using. This ensures that the application can properly interpret and use the data you provide. For instance, a date needs to be in a recognizable format like January 1st, 2023, instead of something arbitrary. To help with this process, you can hover over the input fields and mappable items to see their data types. This visual cue helps you avoid any mismatches and make sure everything works as intended. By paying attention to these details, you can streamline your workflow and prevent errors down the line. It's a bit like double checking your work before turning it in to make sure everything is in order. In the weather app, entering your location can be done in two different ways depending on what suits you best. You can choose to enter a city name, which requires typing the location as text. For instance, you might enter Prague CZ. This method is straightforward when you're sure of the city name and its country code. When you hover over the input field, you'll notice the data type appears, helping you confirm that the system expects text in this case. It's a helpful reminder to ensure you're entering the correct format and avoiding any errors related to invalid data types. If this process feels familiar, it might remind you of the Make Foundation use case you worked on previously. Revisiting it now could offer useful insights. Stay tuned as we explore another way to specify locations, offering greater flexibility for various scenarios. In exploring ways to enter a location in the weather app, you have the option to use coordinates instead of text. This can be particularly useful for small or remote places, or when you're uncertain about the correct spelling or country code. When you choose to input coordinates, the system requires you to enter numerical values for latitude and longitude. As you interact with these fields, you'll notice that hovering over them reveals the expected data type, which is a helpful reminder to ensure accuracy. If you mistakenly input text instead of numbers, you'll encounter an invalid number error. This feature prevents errors and ensures that the location data is processed correctly, making the app more efficient and user-friendly. In this section, we're exploring how to effectively map items in a weather data set. You have the option to click or drag items to organize them, but determining their data type is crucial. Simply hover over an item and it'll reveal its type in angle brackets. This visual cue helps ensure you're mapping data to the correct fields, preventing errors and ensuring accuracy in your analysis. By identifying the data type up front, you facilitate smoother data processing and maintain consistency throughout your project. Remember, recognizing these data types early on can significantly enhance your data management skills. Understanding data type conversion is crucial when working with different fields. Think of it like fitting shapes into a sorting toy. You need the right shape for the right slot. When we talk about type conversion, it means changing a value from one data type to another. This happens automatically in many systems. For instance, if you put numbers like 123 into a text field, it works smoothly. Why? Because text fields can handle letters, numbers, and symbols. But what if you type numbers like 123 into a field meant for numbers? The system will recognize and convert it for you. However, if you try entering words like Make Academy into a number field, the system struggles and shows an error. It's like trying to fit a square into a circular hole. If a conversion doesn't work, don't worry. There are tools called parsing or formatting functions that come to the rescue, and we're excited to explore those in our next course. Understanding these concepts helps make your data integration seamless and efficient. Imagine a collection as a versatile container, like a kitchen drawer holding various utensils. Just as you might occasionally need to sift through it to locate the perfect spoon for your recipe, working with collections and data means pinpointing specific pieces of data from among multiple items. When dealing with collections, you're interacting with a structure designed to organize a variety of items together. This structure makes it easy to access individual elements as needed. Although engaging with collections might involve a few additional steps or clicks, don't worry, it's quite manageable. In Make, when you're asked to map an item inside a collection, you're essentially identifying exactly what you need from the data set. Much like reaching into that drawer for just a spoon, you're plucking out the exact information required for your task, streamlining your process. By mastering this, you increase your ability to efficiently work with data, setting a strong foundation for more complex tasks later on. Let's explore how identifying and mapping specific items in collections happens in practice. When mapping a collection or array, it's important to understand how the process works within a specific application. Let's use the example of fetching a weather forecast. Imagine you want the daily weather conditions for the next 3 days in Paris, France. Your goal is to transfer this information from a weather application into a Google Sheet. To achieve this, you'll work with the weather module to select the days you want forecasts for. This involves specifying today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. The real power of mapping comes when you transfer each piece of data, like temperature, wind speed, and weather description, into their respective columns in your Google Sheet. While it might seem complex initially, breaking it down into manageable steps makes the task straightforward. You don't have to build this setup from scratch, but experimenting by following along in the Make app will give you a deeper understanding and practical experience. Remember, this mapping not only organizes your data, but also automates the process, saving you time and effort. To effectively map your data in Google Sheets, it's important to set up your columns to represent the data you intend to capture. Consider having columns for date, daily temperature, wind speed, and description. Each column corresponds to specific data from your source, such as a weather forecast. Mapping involves matching the field names in your Google Sheet with the data items you're importing. Although you might think data types like date and numbers require special handling, Google Sheets simplifies the process by converting these into text data. This flexibility means you can enter dates and numbers without needing complex conversions. Understanding these nuances makes mapping more intuitive and efficient, ensuring that you can organize and analyze your data seamlessly. Mapping collections can sometimes seem complex, but it becomes straightforward once you understand the basics. Imagine you're working with a Google Sheet and you need to map out daily temperatures. Think of the temperature as a container or a box, which is visually represented by an arrow. This arrow suggests there are multiple items stored inside, like day, night, morning, and evening temperatures. Each of these items represents different data points within the larger temperature collection. You can easily collapse or expand this collection to view or hide these details, depending on what information you need at the moment. So when you're mapping a data collection, remember that it acts like a single element housing several related items. Understanding this structure will make managing your data much easier and more intuitive. When you're working with collections, it's important to understand how to access the specific data you need. In a collection like temperature, each sub-item such as day, night, or morning represents a different set of data points. To retrieve daily temperature data, you must select day from the list, not just the overarching temperature label. This precise selection ensures you're pulling the exact information you want. Think of a collection as a folder containing multiple documents. You need to open the right document to find your specific details. This approach is crucial to avoid errors and obtain accurate data for your analysis. Congratulations on completing this unit. Let's recap what we've covered about mapping data types. First, we discussed the importance of mapping various data type items. This skill is crucial for understanding how to handle different pieces of data effectively. We explored scenarios where this knowledge is particularly useful, allowing you to apply these concepts in real-world situations. Finally, we touched on data type conversion, ensuring you can seamlessly transition between types as needed. This ability is key for maintaining data integrity and optimizing processes. In our next unit, we'll dive into data structures, building on what we've learned to enhance your skills even further. Mark this task as complete to move forward or restart the unit if you wish to revisit any material. Great job and keep up the fantastic work.